Hi, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp workshop. Today, I am going to take a little progression before we get to the card, but the card's super quick. So hang with me because I don't want you to miss anything. And we're at that funny time where we're at the end of a month, the beginning of a month, the end of some specials, the start of some specials. So I'm just going to show you a couple of things that all have other videos so you can go back and watch them to get the full details. But I don't want you to miss anything, especially because a lot of these are posting over the weekends. And I know sometimes some of y'all like to watch these on your lunch hours and stuff at work. So I don't want you to have missed anything. And then in my email, I'll be able to post this video and say you can go see the snippets of everything. So Sale-a-bration, which is our biggest sale of the year, although this year we're having it twice. So I want to make sure those of you that have shopped with me for a very long time that think that Sale-a-bration still has another month, because for several years now we've done January through March. It doesn't have through March anymore. It ends on February 28th. But it's coming back in the summer. So instead of one 3-month period, we'll have January, February, and then it'll make a reappearance in the summer. And I know you've heard me say that, but I don't want you to think this catalog's coming back. When it comes back in the summer, it'll be all new stuff. So don't think, well, I'm going to hold off till June to get that fabulous strawberry paper. I don't even know when it is. And I think it's in July. I don't remember when summer celebration is, but don't think you're going to hang off to get any of this later. When February 28th rolls by and it's not February anymore, this stuff's gone. So that's how long you have left to get that. So the project I'm going to make today uses Sale-a-bration stuff, and it uses something that's going to hang around for a little bit longer, but it's in my class that also ends. So I'm using the Berry Blessings paper, and I do have a class right now, and it is getting filled up quickly. So if you want to do it, you're going to have to hop on it fast because it's a super inexpensive class, because I have several of these that I got free. So I'm passing the free along to you. So you'll get the stamp set. Let me show you what you're going to get. You'll get the stamp set included in your class. The postage is included in the cost. You'll get several sheets of the paper cut 4x6. There is one sheet that I don't have any left of because I had to buy it. That's why I have so many stamp sets, is because I had to get a lot of them to do my Try It Club earlier in the year. And then I've supplemented a couple of them, but we've used it in other projects. So you'll get the stamps, you'll get the paper, and then you'll get the supplies to make 3 cards along with the video instructions. You'll need some stamp pads, no die cuts. So if you've never done a class, you don't have a die cutting machine, and you're interested, this is a perfect starter class. $35, and it's all that. So including the stamp sets. Like I said, it's really inexpensive. I go into more detail in this class, and I often do little series. And this class was based on, some of my stuff's not in the right order, on this card here that my girlfriend sent me. So it's still the same day. I'm filming these, not the same day that you're watching them, but today's card is also this pattern. So if you're new and you're like, well, I can't always come up with new ideas, sometimes you just copy something you already did that you thought was cute. So my girlfriend gave me this cute card. Thanks, Tanya. So then I made this one, and then I thought, you know what? I'm going to use the same paper. So we're going to use the berry paper again, but we're not going to make a berry card. We're going to make a chicken card. So you could do the berry class, have some berry paper, and then you could use chicken stamps on it. So that's going to be our project today in just a second. So let me tell you one more thing. I do have registration open for March, because you know when we're in end of one month, beginning of the next, for the butterfly class. And if you sign up before March, by March 1st, then you'll get an extra project. So this complete video is up, and you can go find out. It's fabulous. This is a fabulous suite. So that one's up as well. So I didn't want you to miss that has posted. So the chicken class there's 2 different ways you can, there's a couple different ways you can do it, because there's 2 different chicken sets. And I realized I have only made videos with this one because the other one was a re-release, and I guess I thought it was old, but the dies are super cute. In the class, you can do the whole shebang where you do both sets, or you can just pick this one, or you can just pick the other one, or you can just get the videos. So when you go to my website, you can see. I'm doing the Hey Birthday Chick again. And then here are 2 other, you can go back and watch these videos. Whoops, my fence is falling down. I need to Get the fence repairman on my little, sometimes when I jam all these in to show people, same girlfriends, they make me the cute card, but sometimes I jam them in my bag and then they don't last so well. But both of these are up. So the class that I'm going to show you today, registration is ending very soon. So it's now or never. If you like this, you better sign up now, because then once that registration's over, it's over. You can still buy this stuff. It's in the January to June mini catalog. So if you watched the berry video, then you're going to be familiar with how to make this card. So I have a half a sheet of cardstock. This time it's white, and it's cut lengthwise in half. So I'm going to fold that in half. If this is just the opposite way, then we tend to cut our cards the other direction and then fold them. So you can always make a card that folds this way. For whatever reason, I think 85% of our cards we cut the other way. Then I'm going to try to think of other things that you might need during celebration. This is one. This is a paper trimmer. So if you don't have a paper trimmer, or if you need to replace your blades, celebration's a good time to do that. So I'm going to stick this in here. I'm going to stick it from the fold down to the corner. That's how we get that little tip right there. And just slide that little corner off. And it's not going to be waste, because that's where I'm going to get my stamps, do my stamping. And then I do need the berry paper. So the berry paper that you'll get in the berry class is cut 4 by 6. So do I have another piece of the red? Yes. I thought when I was looking at this, it just looks like farm. It just looks like you're going on a picnic, nice and farm, kind of 70s. It has that 70s gingham feel. I love it. So I need this to go in here. So this is 4 by 6, which is the size that comes in the class. A nice assortment of it. So this one I've cut in half. So it's now 4 by 3. So this one I just need to cut a couple inches off. Not a couple inches, maybe 1 inch to make it 4 by 5. So put it down here at my 5, which is probably not in camera. So I've got that. So that gives you, I could do a little less, but this gives you a nice piece to use later. And then look at this beautiful piece that we're going to cover up. I know it's kind of heartbreaking. That happens a lot on our double-sided paper, but you just got to learn to live with it. So we're going to pretend we never saw the beautiful sides that aren't going to be used. Then we're going to take the little chicken that's still in his egg. He's just hatching, but he's ready to party. We're going to stamp him 3 times. So 1, 2. Another thing that if you are looking for things to stock up on, or sometimes there's things, and I know I do it, and I will place orders all the time, and I'm like, I need some more of this size block. And then I place an order and I'm like, darn, I didn't get that size block. If you need blocks, Celebration's a great time to get the size blocks that you need. But this is another great thing to get, is just this great pad of scrap paper, because it's got the measurements. So if you have a problem gluing things on crooked or measuring, because it's got the little ruler on there, I like to use it for when I color with my blends, because then it keeps them from sopping through. It's designed to go in your Stamparatus. So if you have the Stamparatus, but that little pad of paper is in the back of the catalog. Great thing to add if you are looking to bump an order up to 50 or 100 to get another free thing of products. So I want all of my little chicks to look a little different, but they're all going to have the same little feet. So this is pumpkin pie and the same little beaks. So let's do their beaks first. And you barely have to touch, because if you put too much ink, Blends ink is alcohol based, it has to go somewhere, which is the great thing if you blend it, because it has a whole bunch and it blends. But on these tiny little images, if you put too much, it's going to bleed outside the lines. So I'm barely touching the paper, because I'm not going to blend it. I just want the color. I could use Stampin' Right markers, but then you have to buy a whole color family. And with the blends, you can just buy one color. So there's the little pumpkin, and that was dark pumpkin. You could use light. And so then for their little hats, I've pulled out dark poppy and dark granny apple green to match the paper that we're going to use. And so again, I don't want them to look all the same. So some of their hats will be green and some of them will be red and some of them will have one color of pom-pom and some will have the other. Just try to mix it up so they don't all look like they're the same little chick. So on this one, let's make his hat green and red and leave his pom-pom white. And on this one, we'll give him a green pom-pom. And over here, we'll do that. So now all their hats are different. And then what I did was I just pulled out 3 different colors of yellow. So I have dark mango, dark saffron, and light daffodil. So then all of them will look just a little different. So I'm gonna color them once because I do want to have a tiny bit of shading, but again, I don't want it to bleed. So I'm barely touching the ink on here and just kind of wisping it on there. And then when that dries, I'm gonna go back with the same color and just add a little bit of highlight with the same color. I'm not gonna even do a dark and light because it's not, they're tiny little images. So it's not worth spending a ton of time. You could if you wanted to, like if you're giving this to somebody in some big birthday celebration or they're graduating from agriculture college or something, then maybe take an extra minute. But for me, for this card, just having that extra little bit of highlight, and this, I didn't put the lids back on because now I can just add that tiny bit right here. And it's not so much that it's gonna bleed outside my lines. Except now I don't remember which one of these I did where. So just add that. And then I'm gonna show you the real magic that really brings these little girls to life. I guess they could be guys. They're just, well, you know, because they're called chicks in my head, I just think they're chicks. So here they are. So see, they're cute, but I just want them to have a tad bit of shading. So I've got my light smoky slate, and you're gonna love this. If you don't do this, you're gonna love it. So this is another thing that some of you might not have, and it's a thing that you can just add to bump an order up if you're looking for something. So I'm gonna take a little wisp, and you're like, oh, that looks awful. I'm just putting a little wisp of the light smoky slate on the shells. And then this thing is our color lifter. So this is where the magic happens. Because see that line? I'm just gonna take that and you just blend it into there. And it just gives that great little bit of shading. So the slate stays on the edge and it gives fun shading and it really brings that shell to life, but it doesn't make the shell be gray. Nobody's gonna look at it and say, oh, that part of the shell is gray. And I made sure to give them all just a little bit different amounts. So again, it doesn't look like I shaded them all the same. But it just gives them that little pop of color. So if you don't have a color lifter and you're trying to find something, I think it's maybe like $4. You can add that to an order. Now we just need to cut this stuff out. So along with the little framelit that cuts that out, I'm gonna do one of the fences that comes with the die and one of the happy birthdays. So obviously we can't cut all of these at once because there's only one of the little chicks. So I am going to put these on and I will cut them out and then I will be back. No big secret to get them to go through. So now we just have to put it all together. So I'm gonna take this, put it in here. And again, we're gonna close our eyes when we look at this beautiful side of the paper. If you do have the strawberry punch, then some of those punch out with a strawberry punch, but you know, we don't for this card, so we're good. So here's our little handkerchief paper. And then if you watched my blueberry one, I made the mistake of putting my adhesive on that. When you do these type of cards, you always put it over here. Otherwise you have adhesive, and I had a little bit that was on the overhang part, so I had to wipe it off. And then I'm gonna put this over to the edge on this one. Just kind of slide it over here. And then I'm gonna take my happy birthday. Everything's poked out of it. And just add some adhesive to that. And then shut your little lid so you can make sure that you can see it when the card itself is closed. I like that brown on there. And then I have the ribbon that is from the Flower for All Seasons ribbon combo pack. I like it because, again, it looks picnicky. It's very linen-y. It looks kind of like a napkin. But because I'm going to put it right down here on the very bottom of this, I'm going to tie it on here first, and then I'm going to go back and add a tiny bit of adhesive. But I don't want to put the adhesive on until I've got it where I want it, because I want it to stick while I'm tying. And this one, I didn't do a faux bow because when I do like a faux wraparound, I do it because it's going to get sealed in. This one, you're going to see the flap when you open it. So you don't want to do that. You want to tie it around the whole thing. So tie a knot first. And then kind of make sure it needs to be down here towards the bottom because we need enough space to work for to fit all of our little chicks. Because, you know, if you saw the little preview picture, they're juggling some hearts on the fence post. So to have enough room, you need to have this down towards the bottom. The first time I made it, thankfully I used seal because it's repositionable, but I had to move it all back down because there wasn't quite enough space. My little chick on the top was bouncing right off the top of the card. So now this is all on here. This is a tad bit long on this one side, but I love the way this ribbon lies. It lies really nicely. I'm going to do a little ribbon bow tying video, probably the first week in March. I'm going to get through Celebration, but I've had a request on how to do some ribbon bow tying. So be watching for that. So we've got that. Now we're going to build everything up. Now I'm only going to do one fence on all my other ones. I've joined them together. This one, I just need one. So I'm going to take that little bit right there and just snip that off. Again, I'm just going to add some. You can use the adhesive sheets if you want. In the class, I'll probably send some for you. I've been working on the projects, but they're not all finished. So there we go. And then you're gonna take, I wanted my mango one to be on top. No, yes, on top. So I did the other two at the bottom. That way you could see that they're a little bit different in color when they're next to each other. Now these two on the bottom are on the fence. So just kind of get their feet so they're there, but then they're also touching little wings. So the second one kind of goes however it needs to go to make that work. So she's going to have one foot on the fence, and then the other one's holding her wing. And then this one is going to be balanced on their two hats. Perfect. Isn't that so sweet? And then to juggle, I used these. Where'd my card go? So you can make, the things can do completely different things because this is the same card, exact same layout. See where I have that little bit of sticky, so it's making it stick because it's put my adhesive in the wrong place. But here's the little white hearts. So I've used the same fold. I've used the white hearts. So we're going with the same fold. This time I'm going to use the hearts again, but I'm going to use the red ones. Complete same paper. So don't get locked into something and think, well, these hearts came with the snail mail suite, so I need to use them with the snail mail. So now I'm just going to make them look like they're each juggling a heart. So she gets a heart. She gets a heart. I feel like Oprah. And she gets a heart. Super easy. Isn't that sweet? It's bright, cheery. You could give it to a child. You could almost give it to a guy. And then you have that little peak of paper that you had to cover up, which I love. Because again, it has that farm feel. Sometimes when we have one piece of paper that works, it wouldn't work on this because you'd flip it over and it would be like ferns or something. But for this one, it works perfectly because we still have a little hint of farm on the back there. So there's that. So remember, Celebration's ending. So anything that you want, you have to get that by the end of February. The Chick class is closing registration. I think it's like the 20th or the 22nd of February. The Berry class will close as soon as I run out of stamp sets, which will be soon because I don't have very many. Again, it's just $35 and that includes the stamp set. some of the paper, which is a nice little stack of paper, and the videos and supplies to make 3 cards. The paper supplies, you have to have the stamp pads in the colors that I have on my class list. And then you can start signing up for the butterfly class. So there's something for everybody. So if you're not on my email, then all of the information's on there, but it's also on my website. And then I post it sporadically on Facebook because, you know, they show you some things they don't. So, you know, Facebook's not the best place to get information, but it is there. So everybody have a great weekend, and I will catch you next week as we, again, tie all these loose ends up and start heading into spring. Bye.